than just saying, no, we're going with other candidates, which tells you nothing.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm playing with this, live stuff now because.
Than just saying, no, we're going with other candidates, which tells you nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So.
Well, I'm playing with this, live stuff now because.
Than just saying, no, we're going with other candidates, which tells you nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So.
Well, I'm playing with this. I got some repeat. Do you hear that? Live stuff now because.
Than just saying, no, we're going with other candidates, which tells you nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So.
Well, I'm playing with this. I got some repeat. Do you hear that? Live stuff now because.
Than just saying, no, we're.
Okay. Guinness is coming on.
Oh, good.
You still there, Kathy?
Yes, still here.
I went to live on Facebook. Let's see. It looks like it's live now, so let's see what we got here. But I was hearing some feedback.
Yes.
I don't know whether you heard it or not.
Yes, I did.
It says that it's live. Anyway, just to promote what we're doing, I'm putting it on live. We have Ennis on the line. Hi, Ennis.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning. How are you guys? Good?
Good, yes, good. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you so much. Appreciate.
Yes. So we were just chatting a little bit, find out what's going on, see how things are going, and Kathy was telling about her job search. So the community of project managers are really different from the community of BAs, Kathy. So.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to kind of chime in with these coffee breaks just to kind of get those nuances, because that while her remarks were appreciated, it kind of surprised me, because I always look at myself more from a BA perspective. So.
Okay. Well, there's a big community out there. I think there's some overlap between the project managers and the business analysts, and the chapters don't always come together, but we can promote project management and business analysis as well. So because we know that they work together.
Right.
As a community, they work together, and there are skills and practices in project management that you can apply in business analysis. And there are skills and practices in business analysis that you can try or apply in project management.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So far, what we have covered, we did PM versus BA. We did PM versus the Scrum Master, looking at comparisons between the roles. Last week, we did project manager versus the product manager. And this week, it's going to be the project manager versus AI. So you didn't know you were competing against AI, did you?
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah, well, we are in a different type of world right now when it comes to machine learning, big data analytics, things like that. And so I've done some webinars on not BA, but project managers and big data. So what I have here, if you would, to get things started, to give you some ideas of things to talk about, I'm going to play this one short clip on project management and artificial intelligence. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get this started. Can you guys hear okay?
It's all
Yeah,
Alfonso,
it's
there's a
good.
lot of talk about artificial intelligence, AI,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's going to steal our jobs and make us all redundant, and robot project managers will take over the world.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, I think that technology, we cannot stop technology, of course, because technology advancement has been crazy for me. I still remember 20 years ago traveling worldwide and not being able to communicate with my wife instead by phone, by the old one, and not by the mobile or the iPhone right now. And now it's totally different. You can, send a video clip or audio recording immediately. So we cannot avoid technology, but on the other hand, I think project management is about managing people. I mean, it's about getting people aligned in order to achieve the project goals and the project objectives. So I don't think so. I honestly, I'm a little bit scared about that, about, in terms of the machines, the power of the machines. I have seen, for instance, when we visited, remember Philadelphia in the Congress, one of the days of the Congress, they were delivering a demonstration about what different type of robots can do, and holograms and this type of stuff. So I was a little bit worried about it, but I really think, on the other hand, that perhaps maybe, I don't know, an opportunity to learn about things are changing. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of hype talked about artificial intelligence, and people have a science fiction film sort of view of the future.
Yeah.
And I think that computers can do a lot of helpful things, but there's a lot that they can't do. So big data, mining big data, pattern recognition, very fast analysis of complex situations. All of those things computers are good at. But the things that you and I specialize in, I think computers will never do. There's the whole idea of relating to people with a stakeholder management, stakeholder engagement, and then my speciality of risk and understanding uncertainty and how much it matters and what we might do about it. And so both of those things are to do with judgment and to do with a sense of what's right and what's wrong, which is a kind of gut level. It's not an analytical process, both for risk and uncertainty and also for people and attitudes.
Of course.
And so I don't think computers will ever get to do that. And I think the idea of artificial intelligence, the intelligence part of artificial intelligence, I'm not sure we'll ever get to that, certainly not in our lifetime. So a lot of helpful analysis, but I can't see it'll replace the human decision maker or the human leader.
I totally agree, of course not. I think you mentioned one important word, that is uncertainty, right? So we are in a very, very uncertain and complex world, so evolving to more and more uncertainty. And in fact, I have read in some sources that probably more than 85% of the jobs are not already invented. So the thing is just you're totally right. So we need to have and to maintain the power in our hands in order to make decisions and to illustrate and help people developing themselves as leaders and managing emotions, for instance. Which is one of the things that I always am really crazy when I saw or I watched the movie of Terminator. Or Terminator 2 or Terminator 3. I cannot remember the number. But totally, absolutely agree. Machines will not be substituting human beings on that.
I think computers are good for managing complicated, big situations, but maybe not complex.
Okay. What's your thoughts on that, on this particular one, before we move on? What's your thoughts?
I think they are right in the sense of the part of emotional intelligence, I mean, never ever the machine can do the emotion thing that we are human doing.
Right.
So the logic thinking, even the decision making, we are much more advanced as a human from the robot. So even if we make an algorithm for the robot, to do some basic calculations, still they cannot do the emotional part that we are doing.
Okay.
I know. I remember I don't remember if you watched the Will Smith movie when he was dealing with robots.
Yes.
Have you watched that one? Yes.
Yes.
This is the typical example, of our situation now. I think it describes a lot. I mean, how that robot that was to be his friend, okay, emotionally and connected to each other, and how the robots start to control other robots, you know,
Yes.
and they start to have kind of racism between them as the robots.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that it came out what they have been taught from the human being, because again the human beings are managing the robots, okay, are
Yes.
creating the algorithms, the mathematical equations for the robots, okay, to act upon.
Right. I
So
think
if
there's.
that does, yeah, go ahead, sir.
It seems that there are people who think that they can create algorithms to do everything that the human brain does, which I don't,
But
which is
again, when
not
it
true.
comes to that critical part that deals with emotion, it's difficult.
Yeah, yeah. I don't agree. I don't agree that they can. I don't agree that anything can actually emulate or come close to emulating what the brain does. What about you, Kathy? What do you think?
No, I completely agree. I'll have to say it's kind of nice to hear that from from leaders in technology, that we're not going to be wiped away tomorrow. Um,
Right.
but I think, yeah, I think it's still a lot of people look at it more, like Ines was saying, from more of an iRobot perspective, and it's all
Right.
sci-fi unless you're in it. So it's nice to hear the proper use of it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about the history of robots, people thought in the manufacturing environment that they were going to be replaced by these robots, right? And that they were going to lose their job. Now, of course, there are robots that are out there in the manufacturing environment that do certain things, but did it come anywhere close to eliminating humans from participating in the industrial
Right.
manufacturing operations?
There was a
So,
story on Walmart just recently who was using robots in their kind of inventory warehouse kind of
mhm,
positions. And they were finding that the robots really weren't providing much more productivity.
right.
So they went back to using humans
Hmm.
because they didn't see the point of laying off people if the robots weren't doing it, above and beyond.
Right.
So I thought that was good to hear. They're not giving up on them. They're just trying to reorient the best places to use them. But it was
Okay.
nice to hear they weren't going to just fire people.
Right. Right. Let's go to the next area here. Next one
Sure.
here. So how companies are using AI. These are some general things. It's not necessarily related to project management, but companies are using AI, artificial intelligence, for analysis of data, which we are all a part of, on-site personalization, optimization and testing, email marketing, image recognition or processing, automated campaigns, content creation, programmatic advertisement, digital asset management, video recognition and processing, creative. So you see a list of areas that are typical of what companies are using, and these are broken down by countries as well. So, wow, it's kind of interesting that looks like Europe in this particular analysis, whenever this was done, Europe was higher in analysis of data than the U.S. Also in advertisement. It's interesting. Okay, so that's just one set of statistics in regards to how AI can be used or where AI is being used at. Let's look at another one. So here's another presentation I think was kind of good. Are they taking over AI project?
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for our May webinar.
Now, the interesting thing about this is that they're calling this as a role or a title, AI project managers. So what does that mean? I haven't heard. Have you guys ever heard of that term? AI project managers, artificial intelligence project managers?
No, it's completely new to me.
No.
No. Okay. Now, I can see a project manager who manages an AI project where they're trying to implement AI within their organization, but this is not that. This is an AI project manager. So let's see what they say about AI project management, and let's see what this group is talking about.
Webinar, AI project managers, are they taking over? AI and automation seem to be the buzzwords of the year. So today we'll be taking a look at how these entities are changing the way people work, especially within project management. So a quick introduction for those of you not familiar with us. PI has been helping teams work better together for over 15 years. And as we like to say, project management is dead and we're reinventing it. We're the first project management solution that grows with your team, offering free software all the way up to enterprise. Your team never has to outgrow a project management system again. Instead, you can upgrade as your business matures. And for our continued innovation, PI was named Best Project Management Solution at the SIA Cody Awards in 2017. And with that said, my name is Alexa, and I'll be your moderator for today. I'm on the marketing team here at Project Insight, and if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to reach me at alexa.ortega-mendoza@projectinsight.com. Today we'll be discussing the impact automation and artificial intelligence has on project management and how to leverage it to increase productivity within your team.
I got to stall it there for a minute. There we go.
So some takeaways of today's webinar. You're going to get an understanding of the future of AI and project management. We'll also answer what exactly is a virtual PM and how it functions. And lastly, how to maximize team efficiency and engagement using AI. And our presenter for today is Margaret. She is our PI champion and product expert here at PI. Thanks for joining us, Margaret.
Thank you. So in our day-to-day life, automation and AI has become more and more prevalent. It all started with Siri from the iPhone, and then we saw Amazon release Alexa, and now Samsung has Bixby. These technologies all help us in our everyday with simple tasks like answering questions or getting us directions or telling us the weather. The list goes on and on. So while automation is widely popular in our personal lives, businesses can also apply this concept to managing workflows and improve their productivity.
You know, I was just reading a stat that said 86% of people believe that automation in the workplace will let them think of work in new and innovative ways. And also 69% of people said that automation will give them more time to do their primary job duties. And I couldn't agree more.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so what we did last year was we took this concept of automation and artificial intelligence and we applied it to project management. We developed a team of AI project managers to improve the way work is managed. So this was our office team, and many of you are probably familiar with them.
Angela is my fave.
So if we go to my Get Apps and Add-ons section of Project Insight, so that's down in the administration section, under Get Apps and Add-ons, the last one in the list, because Virtual PM is at the bottom alphabetically, is how you can get access to this Virtual PM for Slack buddy in the Slack app. So you install it by hitting the install button, and then it'll take you to the configuration, which is as easy as, and I'm doing this in real time, hitting connect, telling Slack which instance you want to link to, and hit authorize. So see, because I did that, this little bot pops up and says, hi. Oh, and look who it is, Alexa.
Uh-oh. Who is it? I think we got some big news.
We do. Okay, so her name is Task Slayer. So stick with me while I'll show you a little bit about her. But okay, first I got to do the boring stuff of mapping all my users. Yay, wonderful. My users are wonderful. Check out who this is. This is my default PM. Her name is Task Slayer. And you can choose from between 1 and 2 teams. So you already saw the Office team. You already knew them. Now we have the new Office heroes. And both of these teams are designed to let you choose who's going to work best with you. They can either cheer you on or get upset at you or lay the smack down if you're not updating your statuses fast enough. They all talk with you seamlessly from PI to Slack and Slack back to PI.
That's right. And so, I mean, we were talking about artificial intelligence on our first slide. And if you notice with Siri, Alexa, and Bixby, what they all have in common is that even though they're virtual, they all have a persona or personality that'll make you want to interact with them. And one of the things that our CEO, Steve, talks about is how Google kind of missed the mark with Google Assistant because it's just, you know, this robot that does things for you. So the main differentiator here with Virtual PM is that they talk to you and say witty comments in order to engage team members. So
that's awesome. So if I write to my task slayer and I say hi, for example, I can have them get back to me and tell me, hey, what's up? So the real advantage here with Virtual PM is that we can eliminate busy work and double data entry. So project managers don't have to do the job of running around to each person going, hey, are you up? Can you update me on a status? Or, hey, did you put your time in for this task? Or I haven't heard any communication about it. Instead, Project Insight can get that visibility from the PI bot in Slack, and I can continue to work in the program I know and love without the hassle of having to learn a whole new system. So if I'm going to update my status, I can say, well, I'm almost done, and now my PM is super happy with me because I've marked a task almost done, and it hasn't interrupted my workflow too much.
yeah, that's awesome.
I can also add a comment as well. So if I click Add Comment, it's going to take me to an interface in Project Insight that says, thanks, Jill, I needed that. And then that'll show up and leave a comment on this task of the reviewed product.
Awesome. And everything's centralized and visible within Project Insight. How cool is that? I love that she's waving at us.
Hi.
So best of all, the Virtual PM is available across all three of our platforms, from our free PI team solution all the way into enterprise, like you were demonstrating. And did I mention it's free? Y'all should download it and give it a try. TaskLayer is part of our new team that we just revealed today, actually. So we have 5 superheroes that are going to help you slice and dice through your workday. And so for those of you
All right, what's your thoughts on this one? I see, Steve, you joined us. We were looking at the project manager and AI. Steve.
Yeah, I wonder if it's possible to have a AI replace a person totally. I mean, would you like to report to a voice, a disembodied voice on a screen telling you what to do as project manager?
I don't think anybody, well.
No, at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of, I mean, my quick view of it, well, I agree completely with Steve. It seems like it's a more pushy calendar reminder, if you will.
A pushy calendar reminder.
Pushy calendar reminder.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, how else would you get your updates, or how else would you get some of this information? Just continue to do it in a traditional way, calling up people.
Aren't there collaborative tools that automatically appear, like a broadcast Instagram or something, or instant message, and that will also automatically update without having to create a AI version?
Well, I guess it depends on what you're calling AI, because they're talking about what they call bots, and bots are just, I mean, in my mind, bots are just little routines that gets triggered to do something, right? They're calling that AI.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
task reminders.
yeah.
Mhm.
I have noticed over the past year, perhaps 6 months or so, an awful lot of companies coming out and saying we have artificial intelligence, and they describe something that we wrote code like that back in the 90s.
Right.
So it's just tabbing it as artificial intelligence because that's the hot thing,
Mhm.
rather than really being artificial intelligence.
Right. Right.
Here's
Right.
an example that I could see. We had a conclave a while back about AI and project managers. And one of the ideas I had was that there's an awful lot of scut work, administrivia associated with project management.
Yes.
And with all of that, sometimes it just takes away from your creativity and your your problem solving abilities. So
Right.
why couldn't an AI read the timesheets and update Gantt charts automatically, put out warnings, adjust the resources, give advice to the project manager that you're going to need to add a person here or change a person there. But that kind of updating of all of the reports and the submissions and all of status and all that, that could probably be done by some form of AI.
Right. All the rules and things would have to be
Like an
defined.
assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have at the Fed, we had a project, I think it was a project assistant, a project something or other, working with the project managers. And the way that we kind of described the relationship was the project managers drive the car and the project assistant provides the
Mhm.
navigation.
Right.
And
Right.
I hate to take a job away from a human being, but a lot of that could be done by a very sophisticated AI.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Someone mentioned that to me in regards to how they deal with their project managers, and they see that project coordinator. They call them project coordinators as being like you said, Steve. They're navigators. So if you're the captain of the ship, you have to ask questions to and get answers so you can make a decision as to what your next move is going to be. So you got these people who are familiar with the territory, familiar with with all the things that are going on. They got information that they're reading, and so that captain has to rely on their expertise in order to make the right decision. He's got to ask the right questions. Ultimately, he makes the decision in terms of what they do and what they don't do. So
That would
I
beg the issue of how much decision making would you delegate or relegate to an AI?
Good question. Yeah, good question. Um, so what I wanted to show you here is the integration, and I don't know if you guys have seen this before. Have you seen and I've shown this several times in different forums, the integration of Microsoft Project and or Project Online and BI, Power BI. Have you guys seen this before?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, it's new.
Okay. So what happens is that you have your projects that you load out on Project Online, right? So this could be Primavera, this could be Open Plan, it could be any project management software package that you are responsible for. And then you put in all of the things related to the project, the budget, everything that will go into that particular project management software, right? And then you have to know the software to know, how to monitor and control your project. So with Power BI, Power BI now is Microsoft's business intelligence that they have out there. So they've integrated the two. they've created a hook between the two where you can go into Power BI and bring in your projects. And so this is a sample here. With this project, there were, for this portfolio, there were 21 projects in this portfolio. And with all the data that's in those projects, it builds this dashboard that lets you know what's going on in the project. You got your variance, all the stuff that you would track as a project manager, right? You got your different projects that are shown here. And this is interactive now when in Power BI, because you see that of all the projects as far as your portfolio, you got projects that are enhancement, infrastructure, new product development, agile program. You can click on them and now go into a more detailed analysis of that particular project. But this is your dashboard, and then it has built in these indicators for yellow, red. So some type of thresholds had to be defined to be able to determine these indicators. So you got these indicators of your threshold, cost threshold, work health, schedule health, and all of that. So this is just one thing. But the interesting thing is that you take the project management software and you bring it into a business intelligence tool like Power BI. Now, there are others, Tableau, they're doing it. I think just about everybody that's out there that has a business intelligence tool has created something. But Microsoft jumped on it right away, and they put the two together. And so with that now, you get combined Gantt charts, right, based on all those projects that are out there. I mean, typically what you would expect maybe in a portfolio, you get, if you wanted to look at cost, you get the analysis. There's dashboards built for your costs. So these dashboards, you don't have to build them. They are canned in the software. So now you can track your cost and you can see what's going on. You can see what's going on by project, and it even has earned value built into it, which is a type of forecasting that you can do. So that's all built in. It knows what your baseline is, because you put all the stuff in your project management information system. And if we wanted to look at the milestones, they got milestone reports, so you can view the milestones. So these are typical reports that you might expect from a project management software package. And you got your risk, all of that. That's there as well. You can analyze your risk and your risk exposure. You have your issues. So now, even if you didn't have issues in your project management information system, if you had a database of issues, you can now bring those issues in and link those issues to your project. And that's the other thing is that, with it being business intelligence, you're talking about bringing in structured and unstructured data, right? And so your issues might be unstructured, but if the tool then is going to start to look for those different connectors, so you start connecting to other areas within the project, that's going to now start to give you some insight about what's going on in that project. So you can tie it to issues log. Here's the thing that also, from a business intelligence standpoint, is, let's say you're trying to manage your resources and you're trying to look at your availability. If you got 21 projects that are out there with all these resources, humanly, you may not be able to discern where there is a disconnect or where you're going to have a future issue or future problem. And so that's where that artificial intelligence can help you. I mean, you can visualize, part of analytics is visualization. So you got the visualization of what's actually going on now, but you wanted to do more than that. If you wanted to be artificial intelligence, you wanted to be able to forecast, where there may be some shortfalls as far as your availability is concerned. And you can do the same thing with your resources. You can drill down into your different resources, find out more about those resources, assignments, right? Those things. You can isolate the assignments and start to find out what's going on for a particular person that's assigned to a particular task. So with that though, here's some things that that's built into the package. And that is, let's say you got some demand information in there. You can actually take that Power BI now and start to do forecasts of that demand. So now you got a tool that's going to help you to do forecasting. The other thing is that it's combing the data. Most of these tools, these what they call artificial intelligence tools, or no, I don't even know if you can call them that, but that's what they're calling them. Azure, Power BI, Watson. All they're doing is scanning all of your data and looking for insights. And you don't have to ask for the insights. I mean, you don't have to query the data. It will automatically tell you if there's something interesting that falls outside the ordinary, so you can start to look at it. Like it flagged this outlier for project fixed cost. It flagged the actual cost. It showed you a pattern because it saw some trends there that it didn't think was going in the right direction, or something that you need to pay attention to. You can do the same thing with risk as well. So here's my point on this one, is that you're taking your project management information system and you're putting it into a so-called artificial intelligence that's actually taking all these different types of data and giving you insight. Now, so we can talk about that. What's your thoughts on integrating your project management information and your business intelligence? It's just, I mean, we have a tool. The tool is to help us. And how do you see this? How do you see this as being an advantage to project managers who actually take advantage of utilizing these tools?
My primary fear in these kinds of tools, and this is not against the tools, is I tell you what, let me tell you give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back, could have been 25 years ago or so. Mm-hmm. I took over as project manager for a project we were doing for a company called Cable and Wireless, which is no longer in business, but they were competitors of MCI. And we were building a system, and I was managing my team, which is a software development on a consulting basis. And the company, Cable and Wireless, said, we would like you to take over as project manager because our project manager is leaving. And we don't have anybody to replace them, and we'd like you to do this. And I said, I was not in favor of it because, a consultant coming in as a project manager is not a good idea unless you basically, it's a higher try and buy type situation. Right. But I did it because, what else? You have computer, we'll travel. So right. I was on there for about 3 months until they finally found a guy, fellow by the name of Richardson. And so I set up the Gantt charts, and I had the tracking Gantt and so forth. And I think we used Super Project Expert or something like that. It wasn't Microsoft Project at the time because MS Project was not very good. Right. They had just started. So we had, but we had the Gantt charts and the what you call work breakdown structure and all of that. And so the new project manager came in, had a lot of experience, but had not seen the tools. And so, I used them and I check them every once in a while, and, just they weren't governing anything for me. Well, this guy came in and he was, wow, look at this stuff. And I basically, gave him a 5-minute discussion of what the project was about and who was who on the project. And the next 4 hours was all about the tools. So that was cool. But this is what happened. This is my fear. From that point, for the next, let's say, month, I don't know how long it was, he would check the Gantt charts and the charts first thing in the morning. He'd come out, ask a few questions, go back and check the charts, come out, ask a few questions, come back and check the charts. I mean, he was using the charts to manage the project as opposed to managing the project. Okay. And it got so bad that his people the people he was managing started coming back to me and saying, can you do something about this guy? He spends his time in his office and he keeps telling us we're 2 days behind now and we've got to catch up and all of this stuff. I mean, they were very disgruntled that he was not being a project manager. And he was managing by tool.
Okay.
And that's the more of this stuff you create, the more risk to me there is that managers will start managing by the tool instead of using their native intelligence, their experience, their personal human insight, and so forth.
Okay. I can see that. At the same time, though, if you are a pilot,
I totally agree with Steve on this one.
I got a counter for that, though. I agree with it, but I got a counter for that. If I'm a pilot, or if I have an automobile, right? I use the automobile dashboard as a indicator to help me to do what I need to do. I don't use it to drive my car, but I definitely want to know if I have a slow leak in one of my tires, or I definitely want to know if, I'm running out of gas. I mean, you use it, but it doesn't dominate our decisions.
And that's exactly right, George. And that's the way it should be. But ultimately, the car says it's out of gas, and the little light comes on, and a voice comes on saying you're low on gas. You ultimately have to make a decision of pulling over to a gas station, the gas station that you like, or the one you have a credit card for, or those are decisions you have to make. The car isn't going to do that for you. So
Right.
To depend on the dashboard to give you the answers is not correct. And so if the project manager or the portfolio manager or the program manager is using the dashboard to check up on things and maybe give some alerts because there's so many things to watch for, it's nice to have a little message come up about one or the other,
Right.
colors that draw your attention, but then you go out and resolve it.
Right.
As I say, my fear is that they just use the dashboard and assume that the dashboard and the AI is going to take care of everything for them.
Yeah, so using things intelligently would be, for instance, if my vehicle, I have a vehicle and it says, all right, you have a quarter of a tank, right? To me, that's data, right? It might be information, but if it says you have now 100 miles before empty. All right. So now I got information. Now I got information to know that, okay, I got this information 100 miles before empty. I can decide to go ahead and put more gas in the car, or I can say, well, I'm not going to go that far and I'll go another 60 miles, but at least I have some indication before, I run out of gas. I'm not going to just run out of gas, right? But I have to make a decision as to what I'm going to do now. So that's one thing. Right. But so now you start to get into things like, okay, so now you got 100 miles to empty, but then because it has location information, it says, and the next station availability is within X amount. So now you got additional information, or it could say you're not going to make it to the next station. Right. So that now you got stuff you can do something with, I was telling someone that, Steve, about this, when you're flying or whatever, it's okay for Delta to say, well, your plane has been delayed. Right. That's a warning. That's a notice. Your plane has been delayed. And so now it says it gives you information so you can make a decision about, well, should I go to the airport now or go to it later? But then let's say it says your plane has been canceled, right? So that's additional information now that you got, your plane has been canceled. But what about your plane has been canceled? And by the way, there's 2 or 3 other airlines that are scheduled to go out, and you can book with this airline to get out sooner or whatever. So it starts to give you choices as to what you can do. And that's that kind of thing you won't get necessarily unless you have some type of interaction with that data in somewhere, You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Ultimately,
it's like DSS system, right? Decision support system.
Yes.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Steve, what were you gonna say?
I was going to just say exactly what you said, that ultimately the machine, and we will probably, if we don't already have it, we will probably have such things as your next gas station is there. But the concept is simple. The dashboard tells me that I have so many miles to go. Now it's my decision about whether to get gas or not. It also tells me that I'm not going to make it to the next gas station before I run out of gas.
Yep.
Still my decision. I might say, cool, that's not a problem because I have a 5-gallon gas tank in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's no way the AI would know that. There's no way that the helper would know that. So ultimately, it's going to be my decision. And that's, as I say, that's my concern is that as we get more and more AI-ish, if that's a phrase, we will start letting the AI make decisions. And many of the people will do that for one simple reason. If something goes wrong, they can blame the AI as opposed to making the decision on their own and having to take the blame of a wrong decision themselves.
Right. Right. Yep. Yep. Kathy, anything? You've been quiet a little bit.
No, just definitely, taking it in. What this reminds me of is um, back in the mid 90s, code generators were starting to become the buzzword, and the idea behind them were using your business analyst tools at the time, put in your requirements, put in your data model, and hit the magic code generator button, and all will be well. And I wasn't a believer back in the mid 90s of the magic code generator button. So I'm completely in agreement with Steve and all of you that use the tools wisely, but you still need a little insight added to what they're telling you.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree there. Let's see, next area, human versus machine project management. I found this one. This was kind of interesting. Okay, for traditional project management versus robot project manager. Okay, so we got a robot project manager now. For staff evaluation, long project planning cycles involving budgetary and recruiting. The robot project manager, automated skill matching, candidate vetting, and team making. Now we've had a lot of discussion on this one. I don't think people agree with this from a human resource standpoint. This whole thing about automated skills matching, candidate vetting, and team making. Maybe it can, but the people who are looking for a job are saying they're not doing very well competing against this automated skill matching thing or candidate matching, candidate vetting. I don't know. So
I'd have to agree.
Pardon me?
I said I'd have to agree.
Yeah, it reminds me of people who try to get their website to get more hits on their website by putting in keywords. So they go in and sprinkle all these keywords that they think people are going to be looking for, so they can get a high traffic generation for their website. That doesn't work very well unless you spend a ton of money and you know what algorithms that Google and everybody else search engines uses. But to me, that's what that kind of reminds me of. But I mean, there are some merits to. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but there's some merits to being able to sift through that data. If you got data, if you're managing a project and you got a lot of candidates, maybe you need to have an automated way of doing it so that you can maybe key in on the people that would be, closer to what you're looking for. So that's one. Work assignments, planning tools, long team meetings, strategic business alignments, and time-consuming one-on-one meetings. That's the traditional project manager. Robot project manager, automated availability detection, tasks assigned as needed. I mean, a lot of this, I think, Steve, based on what you're reservations are, you can have reservations about each one of these in terms of whether the machine can do it or not. But automated availability detection. I mean, why wouldn't that work from a project management standpoint? Maybe I should ask that question. Why wouldn't it work?
I can see that. Yeah, okay. I check and make sure I wasn't muted. I can see in some of these cases where it would make sense, your underperformers, for example, if you have what is that called? Forced ranking. If you have a forced ranking corporate system, then you're going to have levels of performance to be achieved by all programmers. And so it would be nice to have, if you've got 115 programmers working in 9 different agile teams, it would be nice to surreptitiously or unobtrusively record their performance and then flag something that said, you've got somebody who is way underperforming.
Right.
Now, the question is, what do you do about it? If then you go and talk to the person and from a human basis and say, is there an issue here? How's things at home? Or, how are you feeling? Maybe you're a little under the weather? That would be the positive thing. It's kind of helping you to do something. Like a user story is a token for a conversation. It isn't a requirement. So this is a token for a message to have a conversation with this person. The bad thing would be the project manager says, okay, the AI says this guy is underperforming, he's fired.
Yeah, that's bad. That would be bad.
You're letting the tool make your decisions for you. The same thing on that very first one, the staff evaluation. Yes, indeed, that can be done and has been done. But I will point out the Microsoft faux pas in the UK back a year or so ago, where they had engineers and they fed in all of the qualifications and the characteristics of engineers and had the tool go through all of the engineers that were working, software engineers that were working in the UK and create a profile. Which it did. Okay. And so the first cut, and they were cutting through resumes, and as that worked and it got itself, using machine learning here, as it worked and got itself more and more sophisticated, it began to say that you could only be an engineer if you were a male of a certain age. And that did it right there.
Right.
And so they finally, and then it was called out by, I don't know, some organization. As a result, they've killed it. They haven't used it since. So the actual tool took the characteristics of those who were that way at the time and ignored anybody who could possibly come in who didn't fit that mode. So the same thing, but you could still do that. I can see an awful lot of getting rid of somebody says they've got 114 years experience, and you might as well throw that away because that'd be impossible. However, I can't see a AI today. I have the feeling that with behavioral analytics in the future, we might be able to do this better than we could personally. But I can't see a tool saying this person, out of the 174 qualified applicants, this person will be the best fit for the team as it is composed now. Right. The only way we can find out if they're best fit for the team is have the team do the evaluation. And even then, the only real way is to run about 2 months of working with the team.
Okay. All right. Now, so the seem like what we're coming to some conclusions on is that AI cannot be done in a vacuum. There has to be human involvement for decisions, and you just can't leave the decisions. I mean, you can't leave the decisions to some robot or some supercomputer to make decisions about certain things. Now, there are some things I think when it comes to, like, let's say work assignments, what seems to parallel that to me is what Uber and some of these other ride provider services have done. They've matched supply and demand. And so what you have is you have a demand for a service, and then that sends out an alert to see if there's an available supplier. That supplier then says, yes, I'm available. And then they match it and they take care of everything on the back end. Let's say you had a project and you were a project manager and you needed bricklayers, you needed electricians, you needed painters, you needed whatever. So on a given day, you have a demand that you put out there. And then if there are people who in that area, they can respond. They've already determined what their rates are going to be. Now you can have fulfillment of that, and people can do that work. I think someone has already, actually, I think I know a buddy, a guy, a friend of mine whose son has actually done an app like that, and is getting a lot of traction.
Well, remember, George, that you're talking about, and I don't want to dehumanize it, but you're talking about interchangeable parts.
Yes.
A painter is a painter. Somebody's going to
Yeah.
paint a wall. I need labor. I don't care who it is. I just need labor to paint the wall. Driver, can you drive? Do you have a license? Have you had accidents? You have outstanding fines. Okay, you're hired. Now consider this. I can't imagine it building a house or construction, but an Uber driver, suppose that you wanted a particular kind of driver who would have certain qualifications, be able to we're going to be a long car ride, and I'd like somebody to talk to, but I don't want to talk to somebody that I'm going to be arguing with the whole time. So, match me with that kind of person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where then Uber could not do that. All they can do
Well,
is
you know
get
what?
you. And if you have an
know-
automated car, then
Uh-huh.
it just matches you with the car without the driver. Now, when you get to software development and teams, agile teams that have to work together and self-organize, and you get that they need certain soft skills and so forth. That's where I think the AI is not there yet. And I'm not saying it won't be, it's just not now.
I recall seeing something where if you wanted to have a Uber driver that would provide conversations, I recall, I don't know where I saw that. It was something along these lines, but you actually paid a premium.
I can imagine that. Yes.
You pay extra to have someone that can talk, or you might pay extra to have someone to say, I want someone who's just going to leave me alone, pick me up, don't ask me any questions. I want to read my paper, drink my coffee.
That's where you get the driverless car.
Yeah. So I know there's been several trips where I was like, I didn't want to engage with the driver, but it was like, and on those days it was like I got 60 minutes. And that person talked the whole 60 minutes. It was a wipeout. So anyway.
And then he transforms his stress to your stress as well.
Yes.
While you were driving, and then you want a stress reliever, but you discover that that his stress is now your stress as well.
Yeah.
You come out more nervous than you got in.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Or the type of music that they're playing. I mean, they're playing some music or got some station on that you just do not want to listen to at the moment.
Or a cab in which allows smoking, and you get in and all you can smell is the cigarette smoke, and you don't want that.
Yeah. So we got some other areas: performance monitoring, automated performance monitoring. I think software tools are good. Automated tools are good for monitoring. You were talking about underperformers. Yep, errors and automated warnings. That's good. And then worker grievance, personal issues, and workplace nuance.
This is a good thing here because of the objectivity, the lack of bias. It's having been project manager for a number of years, a manager and so forth. it's
Mhm.
very easy to overlook certain people's behaviors.
Mhm.
Somebody who has been a star for a while and then starts having off performance. The performance goes down, and you tend to say, well, they'll just come back. They're a star. They got, they were the ones that helped make this other project a success. And you don't actually look at what's going on to see if maybe this new project they're on is not a good fit for them, or the job that they're doing isn't a good fit. But the tool doesn't have any of those biases. It just says, this is what should be, this is what's happening, this is the difference. So in this case, these kind of monitoring tools would be exceptional to. Now, if I got a message that said, you've got to discipline George, and I say, no, I'm not going to discipline George. No, George is a buddy of mine. We go way back. I'm not going to talk to him. Well, that's my choice.
Right. Okay. So here's our some questions. Final questions. What is a AI project manager? Even I don't know if there's a term. An AI, artificial intelligence project manager. That's what they use in that one video. AI project manager. To me, all the description that they gave is automating things that can be handled without having to go through a lot of thought process. Having bots where you can create rules and generate actions based on certain types of rules. Anybody else? AI project manager? Maybe there's no such thing, or should be no such thing as an AI, artificial intelligence project manager.
I think that probably not within my lifetime, but I think there will be a project manager. Think of 2001. Hal was basically a manager, managing the project of getting the ship from Earth to wherever he was taking Kirk Dulio, whatever his name is. So you could have that, but ultimately there's that human aspect. And there are projects that human aspect is just not really that big a factor. So, but the idea when I hear AI is that there is a certain amount of learning as the project manager, the AI project manager does things. It has to learn from what it does so that it makes better decisions in the future. It doesn't make the same decision again when things don't go well. This is what you and I would do. If I put somebody in charge of something and they blow it, I know that either I've got to do something to get that person so he won't blow it next time, or put somebody else in there. I learned that in order to do this, you need to train them before. So it's my mistake. I should have given them training.
Right.
The AI project manager should be able to do that. And just providing a rule-based stuff we've had since the 90s, as they say, rule-based decision systems to help out doesn't, to me, say AI.
Okay. Any comments on this, Ines or Kathy?
No, I'd have to agree with Steve. At least, what we're seeing now, I guess my concern would be a company that would throw everything in right now to a true AI area. It just seems like we're not quite there. Ennis talked about the emotional decision. It's that additional learning that Steve just talked on. We're just not quite there luckily for the computer to do everything yet.
Right. Okay. And here's the last thing. Oh, Ennis, did you have something on this one?
No, I totally agree with the guy said.
You mentioned, huh?
Yeah, I totally agree with what the guy said. Okay. And we're still not there yet.
Yeah. Okay. And here's the last question. The role of project manager, this is my own statement here. The role of project manager will disappear over the next 5 to 10 years. Agree or disagree? Why? And I'm saying why, because all of their tasks will be automated. That's a bold statement.
I doubt.
Well, here's, okay. If I assume I agree with that, how
Yeah.
would I agree with that? And the answer, because my initial instinct is to disagree.
Yes.
But suppose that what happens is would you say the mechanisms of project management around which the project manager is focused, the stuff out of the PMI, and do this and this and this, and do this first and then that first, and here are the 5 phases and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that will be, it can be, as you say, if they are all automated, yeah, all of that project coordinator, project assistant, and all that may be taken care of completely through automation or transformation.
Right.
But what will happen is we still need a human being managing it. So it may not be a project manager anymore. It may be called something new
Okay.
that does the scrum master part of the project management, the human thing, the coaching and the servant leadership and all that. And they don't want to call it project manager anymore because project managers have bad names. So
Right.
they just take all the project manager stuff, automate it, and then they've got somebody left who is a coach.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Makes me think about 2 things on this, and that is there's on the project management side, when you learn project management, there is the quantitative stuff that you deal with, and there's qualitative stuff that you deal with, or what we say, and some people don't like the term, hard skills and soft skills, right? Some people would argue that those things that are hard skill, those things where you have formulas and all those things can be automated, right? But when it comes to communication, trust, emotions, things like that, it's more difficult to automate. So those are some things there when it comes to that. Oh, the other thing is that in professions, all of our professions, we deal with tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. And some people would argue that the explicit knowledge could be automated, but tacit knowledge is, things that people have in their heads, but not necessarily on paper. So, will we ever get to the point where all the knowledge that exists can be documented and put on paper? And that's probably never, it will never happen, but that's the thought, is what's happening with all that tacit knowledge that engineers have, project managers have, professionals have, that never gets put on a piece of paper, never gets documented. For a specific project. But anyway, so what's your thoughts? So that's tacit knowledge versus explicit knowledge, and being able to capture that.
I agree. A friend of mine is a psychologist, and he was assigned by the aerospace firm. I can't remember the name of it, out in California, to help take the knowledge of the engineers who were all fairly old and retiring. This was 20 years ago, and transfer it to the new guys. What they found out was that there was a gap between what the old guys were able to do and what the new guys coming in with their PhDs and their doctors in engineering still were not able to do.
Okay.
And the problem was, how do you get, and what he came up with was that there's an awful lot of information that these old guys do automatically and don't even know they know, because they've been doing it so long. They learned it 30 years ago, and they don't remember they learned it. They don't remember that there's any other way of doing things. So it's so automatic, they don't bother training the people. And all the engineers apparently were all doing their training, but things were being missed. So the question is, how do we get that knowledge transfer? And that's all this implicit knowledge that you're talking about. We don't even know we have it. We make decisions without knowing why we make those decisions, just because we've made the same decision for the past 20 years and it's worked for us.
Yes.
So we don't know what to tell somebody how to do a job. The handoff and me teaching you my job has not really been all that successful over the years, especially nowadays with much more thinking type jobs.
Sure. Right. Okay. All righty. Well, that's that. Oh, one of the fun thing that we probably can't forget, and that is remember too that if we're looking at perhaps some type of representation of what's going on in the real world, that does not give us a full understanding of what's happening, because we need to probably physically go see it, physically touch it, those physical things that we just, so there's information that we can't get, that can't be transferred through electronic means. You follow what I'm saying? So if I'm managing a project and I got information about what's going on, I may need to go see, or I may need to get boots on the ground to actually verify what the data is saying or what the data might be saying. Or I may even see something when I get on the ground that it's not even represented in the data or the information.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we can't discount that. So that goes back to the whole thing about interfacing with people, face to face, body language, all those things. All that's information that's not captured by a computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, you cannot make an agile methodology here.
Right. You cannot.
Yeah, it has to be predictive.
Yes.
It
Yes.
cannot be adaptive.
That's right. I agree. All right. Any questions? That's kind of it for now.
Cool.
All
Oh,
right.
cool. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it all. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Kathy.
Good
All right.
discussion.
Thank you,
everyone.
George.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Have a nice one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.